What up guys, it's TCG Meta Slayer. Today's video we're going to talk about red and Dragon Ball Super card game. This comes from both like a competitive meta perspective, but again, here's a huge disclaimer, I'm no longer agreeing with the way that the community and with Bandai, how they're handling things like bans and all that kind of stuff. So pretty much, you know, my locals and everything, when we run competitive tournaments or if I run private tournaments, we play with a lot of unbanned cards from the list. In other words, if you look at a Bandai's official list of banned cards, we only have a few of those in effect. The rest are fair game. That being said, I think more people need to just play Dragon Ball Super card game from a casual perspective. And again, even though I build decks that can technically be, you know, called something that's like rogue or whatever, thematic, casual, or fun, believe me, when I test out all of these decks, I always make sure they can take on whatever's supposedly the most powerful in the meta. You know, and that includes obviously sideboarding, strategies, and other things like that. That being said, just enjoy this game, guys. It's a fun game. Again, I want to be positive about this. I want more people to play. I don't know about you guys, but I want this game to, you know, keep going. 6 years strong. Hopefully after this, we keep going on to like the Big Ten, you know, and be in the same category as like Magic the Gathering and other greats like, you know, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! So that being said, let's start out. First thing I want to mention is one card in particular, and that is Piccolo Jr. This Unison, we do not ban this card. We play with this card all the time, guys. That's right, all day, every day, we play with this card. And let me tell you why. Because when it came out, obviously it was OP. A lot of people played red. So in hindsight, that pretty much led to the fact that people want to cry about this card being like way too powerful, unbeatable. So it got banned. Now, the problem with that is, once again, it basically shut down a lot of red decks because this is one of the premier red Unisons that costs 2 and that you can +1, activate main, draw 1 card. Now, the other thing is, he does have a good finisher and he allows you to rejuvenate, and I think that's a great ability that's not seen a lot in Dragon Ball Super card game. Again, I think a lot of people in the community got scared of it. You know, Bandai didn't want to become super powerful. But again, I'm also coming from a perspective of just playing games like Magic the Gathering Pro since like late 90s. And if you look at other games, even out of Bandai's stable, technically Digimon and One Piece, it's something that can definitely be used because I think in Digimon, I've been playing Security Control as one of my main decks. Again, I have several main decks, but I can tell you that it's both fair, fun, and equal. Just because, you know, and again, we're starting to see this in One Piece, right, with the yellow decks. Yellow Digimon and yellow One Piece decks have ways of putting cards from the top of their deck back into their security or their life, and essentially that's an ability that's been removed from the Dragon Ball card game, again probably because of the crying of the community, and this is one of those examples. So for me, this is a must-have card that you need to play with in order to experience the full extent of Dragon Ball Super card game, especially red, because once again, this allows you to have a rejuvenate ability thematic with Piccolo, which again you don't really see, and it's definitely a +1 drawer to Unison that needs to be available to red decks. Again, and this is not one of those Unisons too, one more thing, it's not like this is a red Unison that would eventually be so powerful that every red deck has to play it. It's not in like all of my red decks. As a matter of fact, all the red decks I'm going to show you today that I'm playing and building, it's in none of them. It's in 2 of my other red decks, but those are more like advanced and niche red decks. And again, this by far is not going to be like a red card that's going to be unbeatable and make every red deck unbeatable as well. Okay, so the other, and one more thing is, you know, they did kind of do a pseudo replacement for this. There is an SS4 Gogeta that I've also picked up that, you know, thanks to the banning, once again, of SS4, Gogeta has become affordable. So that's another good Unison that you can play with, especially if, let's say, in your locals or otherwise, you know, if you go to an event and you can't obviously play with this card because it's banned, that's a nice alternative. And just hopefully that card doesn't get banned either. All right, let's start with the leaders here. So first of all, I just want to give out an honorable mention to Super Saiyan, the Saiyajin over here, SS Son Goku, SS Vegeta, and Trunks, the Ultimate Team. This is a deck I have not yet built. I've seen people play it. I like the theme of it. You know, you get like a triple team, and I think this in and of itself is fairly inexpensive, thematic, and fun. If you can't decide between some of your favorite characters, you want to play a little bit of Goku, Vegeta, you like Trunks, you know, then obviously pick this up. Great deck for sure, and I'm going to go through the rest of these pretty quickly as well. All right, next up we have Son Goku and Vegeta. Speaking of, we have the SS4 duo, and I'll actually move this stuff out of the way to be a little bit easier. Concentrate here. So essentially, oh, let me get on my Vegeta glove too. So again, this is a great deck. As I've said before, I've really liked the Dragon Ball GT anime. I'm finishing up the second season now. If you want, you can check out my other channel, Super Fun Force, where I talk more about the anime and I go over the figure arts that I have, along with other retro toys, you know, Nerf, Beyblade, and cool stuff like that. So again, this is a deck that became super popular. Once again, the community cried out, so it got banned. Barely even, like, I don't even think it lasted for like a year before getting banned. Whereas, again, comparably, in One Piece, Red just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And, you know, we're almost, what, 3 years into the One Piece meta, and it's not changed at all and doesn't seem to be bothering the community. You know, I don't know if people are crying about it yet, as much as, you know, they should be. But again, it doesn't matter. If you're playing One Piece, play Red all day if you want to win in a competitive environment, so to speak. But again, this is awesome because, you know, as a fan, hold on one second, I'm gonna put my glove on. As a fan of GT, right, you get both Son Goku and Vegeta, and then you get, bam! Oh, sorry, they already turned over. But then you get Gogeta from the Z Awakened leader, right? So again, super fun, and essentially a banned deck now in tournaments, so it's become a lot cheaper. So definitely build this deck and play this if you want to experience the power of Red, and if you want to be able to play SS4 Goku and Vegeta. Next up is, well, bam, Shenron. Wait, what? Well, I don't have the Red leader, but the Wish leader, since Shenron's also super fun. I helped buy the deck and assemble it for my nephew, which is, again, super cool because it's obviously the counterpart of this deck at the time that were released. Omega Shenron, again, it's a Wish leader, so you have to go for the Dragon Balls first. And essentially, you know, the deck had a lot of cool stuff, you know, free play cards, you know, critical and everything like that. And once again, you know, people cried out the deck was too unbeatable or something, and everyone was playing it because it was easy to win with. So once again, it got banned. Don't let that stop you though. If you want to, again, experience the GT universe, then you're going to get, you know, the SS4 Goku and Vegeta. You're also going to want to get the Red's Omega Shenron leader for sure. Again, should be a super cheap deck to build now, especially since a lot of the cards are banned. So definitely build it and play it. All right, now we're getting into the more, I guess, current playable unbanned decks. Got to give a shout out here to U7 Son Goku. This is a deck that was, again, super popular when it came out, and pretty much was built to take advantage of the Vegeta secret rare. So that's the only caveat here. If you want to quote unquote build this deck to its full competitive potential, it'll set you back a lot of money. However, if you're playing for fun, you can just proxy it, or, you know, you can definitely, you know, take the leap and play this deck. You know, try it out again with a proxy. Try it out at your locals if you want to be competitive with it before deciding if you're going to invest in it. But again, this is it, right? This is Ultra Instinct Son Goku. So in his newest, most powerful form, this is a great way to play him in a, you know, fast red aggro way, where you're basically putting a lot of cards into your drop, and then of course with his ability you can bust out the secret rare once you know, get it put in there. Again, super thematic and fun, and you also get to play a lot of the Universe 7 characters from the Tournament of Power. Once again, overall a decent, you know, value to pick up and play. It's just the secret rare that really pushes this over the top. But otherwise, you know, check out this deck for sure. And again, I'm glad this deck never got banned because, you know, people started to find out other ways to beat it, play against it, and eventually, you know, it stopped being seen in tournaments, so they didn't ban it. Whereas, again, like I said, the problem with other red decks, it seems like, is if they get popular and people still play them in tournaments and win with them, then the community cries out, and then Bandai just says, okay, we'll ban them. If people don't play them and they let them kind of just gradually get seen here and there, you know, they can pop up and maybe win tournaments still, then they won't get banned. But again, if the red deck gets popular, then it's going to get banned. All right, so here's another one that didn't get popular enough to ban. We have the U7 Son Gohan, one of my favorite decks of all time, just because I really, really, really like Son Gohan as a character, right up there with Goku. And basically, this is the U7 version that plays on comboing and has a lot of really cool key cards that you can add to this deck. This is one of those decks that could almost, you know, run this exclusively, the Piccolo Jr. And I think when it came out, a lot of people did. And that's another reason why this deck kind of lost favor, is because once this got banned, everyone stopped playing this deck. Now people try to bring it back with the SS4 Goku Unison, that's a viable option. I do have another tech option here I'm not going to share today. I don't want to go into it. But again, I could easily play this as well, maybe sideboard it. But there are other Unisons to play in this deck for sure. And essentially, again, this is once again a pretty easy to pick up and play deck. It has a really fun mechanic with the comboing and drawing, especially now with Z Energy. This deck is, you know, definitely current by that standard. Even though you can still play any Dragon Ball deck, you know, prior to the Zenkai series. But this one kind of still feels like it would have belonged if it was released in the Zenkai block. So check this deck out if you want to play a lot of combo power. You also want to get some more tournament power Universe 7 characters and be playing with a Gohan. All right, next up, guys, we have one from my favorite set of all time, Saiyan Showdown, and that is the Z Broly leader, the Wicked Maniac Broly. I really like this deck as well because I've seen people do pretty decent with it back when it came out. Again, another underrated deck, and it's super thematic. It's another deck that plays unlike any other decks, or I wouldn't say unlike any other decks, but in a very small margin of decks. And it's because this one relies on extra cards pretty much exclusively. Your deck is going to be like almost all extra cards, which is cool because that's what his power and his theme is based on. Because, dude, this is Broly, man. This is the one-man army, the legendary Super Saiyan. He doesn't need battle cards from other characters. It's all about playing Broly, and this is the complete package. You know, it's a very skillful deck to play. It's not easy at all. Obviously, you know, the theme of Broly should be just straight up, you know, ground and pound, super powered, you know, smashing through everybody and stuff like that, like a berserker. But you got to make very careful and critical decisions with this deck because there are so many offensive, critical, and defensive options you have. You have to just really time it out and understand what's the best play each turn against your opposing deck. It's almost like, you know, you got to be 10 moves ahead in chess with this deck. I mean, all decks you should be, but this deck is even more so important for sure. Okay, next up, we're going to go to the last two that are current that I recently built. One is Garlic Jr. I haven't even sleeved this up yet, guys, but here's my build so far. And I had to get this because I don't have a wish leader. Like I said, I helped build Omega Shenron for my nephew, so this guy is my first wish leader that I'll be playing. And you know what, I really like the Dead Zone movie. Again, a lot of people, I don't understand how they play Dragon Ball Super card game and don't, you know, enjoy the animes and the movies and understand all of the lore. For me, that's an important and like a vital and integral part of enjoying any card game that's thematically based. So I'm not going to rant about that here, but I know there's a lot of people that jumped onto the One Piece bandwagon, the TCG, when it came out, and I want to say like 80% of people don't even understand the stories of One Piece, haven't even watched all of them and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, there could be, I think there's less of that in Dragon Ball Super card game. I think there's more fans, but then it also makes me wonder this, you know, why it's sad that like people who enjoyed the series hate on the game a lot. You know what I mean? Like they complain, like I said, they want things banned. You know, they're always thinking competitive, but it's like, man, if you like watching Dragon Ball and, you know, the anime, reading it, collecting it, then you should just enjoy playing the game and be thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? That's my positive spin on it. But anyways, I think this deck definitely has competitive potential. It has a lot of cool stuff, indestructible at its theme. The leader, once you get the Dragon Ball 7 Dragon Balls in your drop, you can wish them out and you can basically be invincible for an entire turn, meaning you can't even lose the game. So super thematic. And again, I really like the anime. He was a cool villain, you know, in his little pint-sized form, and then he turned into like, you know, Incredible Hulk, and, you know, one of the villains I was able to wish on the Dragon Balls. So super cool. And next up, and finally on the list, the other deck I'm really excited to be playing is Power Pulse on Goku, which also again is from the same, you know, these are both obviously from Wild Resurgence, but they're from the Garlic Jr. Saga movie, and that was one of my most favorite. I remember seeing it in, I don't know, was it like 92, maybe 90, 91? I don't even know, because I think the movie came out in 87, but one of my Chinese friends showed me the animation in Chinese, and I remember that sequence with Goku, you know, fighting his, this guy's lackeys here, Garlic's lackeys. And yeah, the sequence, the animation, the choreography on it was phenomenal. That was still a little bit more of like when Goku was in his martial arts days, right? Before he became, you know, super powerful, Ultra Instinct and everything. He had to rely more on fighting techniques. So it was really awesome. I watch it all the time. You know, I know that people have put up the sequence on YouTube and it's gotten millions of views. And yeah, it's never lost, you know, sight in my mind of a lot of the earlier retro Dragon Ball animes. So Really cool. So that was awesome. And last thing about this deck that makes it fun is it relies on the power pole. I don't know if I can just grab to one here somewhere. Oh, some of my secret tech. Okay, anyways, so as far as the power pole goes, it's really cool because it feels like a like in Magic the Gathering and even Flesh and Blood, it feels like you're equipping your character and using an artifact or a weapon. And that again is a mechanic I think has never been used in Dragon Ball up until this guy right here. So definitely try it out if you like Goku. I recommend both of these out of Wild Resurgence if you want to stick to the super current most newest set as of the time of this video. And again, both are super cheap decks to play. You don't need any, you know, supposed secret rares. The secret rare from this set, the Red Shenron, is made primarily for Garlic Jr. It can go in any red deck, obviously, but thematically, it's made for this deck, and also the way it works mechanically. I haven't picked it up yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it right away, but it's not needed. But again, that's something to think about. If you really want to play this deck 100% complete, then you might want to get that secret rare. This deck, you can be more creative with the secret rare in this deck because there is none made for it from the set, so that's a big plus there. All right, guys, there you go. That is my take. And in conclusion, I just want to say that, you know what? Red needs to be a color that's, you know, balanced. Obviously, all colors should be equal. They should be all enjoyed, and they should all be played competitively. And what makes red red is it's supposed to be the most aggressive color. We've seen this in the beginning of, you know, Magic, and then Bandai has picked that up, which is what they've done in One Piece, which is what they've also done in Digimon. And basically what it means is like the card should be a lot more cost effective in their attack power, especially with red. I like how they give them critical. Red should be the critical master. If you're not putting pressure with critical with red, you're not playing red. And again, community shouldn't be crying about this. They should be playing decks against red if they're not using red themselves to be able to deal with it and just accept it as part of the game, man. It's like saying, oh, you know what? If you guys know about Magic the Gathering, right? It's like saying, oh, dude, you know, red should be a color in Magic the Gathering, but, you know, we should kind of like get rid of haste and direct damage, and then let red be like a color that's whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like the same thing. If you're, you know, complaining about red having critical and having free play cards like Omega Shenron, then that's just getting rid of what made red red. So I don't know, we're getting to the point where like everyone's crying for bans, to the point where like the colors aren't going to matter, and essentially blue, yellow are just going to be the best colors all the time, right? Just all the time. Because once you start seeing offensive decks from red and even black become, you know, popular, then again, they're going to get banned. So that's a little bit of a forewarning there. So with that in mind, I hope red continues to be a color that can capitalize on critical and free play cards. And what's also neat is obviously they're the ones that are good at negging and minusing stuff, which is very good against stuff with indestructible, right? So in other words, there's a lot of cards in red that's like minus 10,000 to a battle card, minus 15,000. And again, that's the other, I guess, third part of the color red and its identity that we hope, that I hope doesn't go away. But there you guys go. You know, red is actually not even my favorite color, but I really enjoy playing it. And I've started to build more red decks recently now with the acquisition of these two, just because, like I said, I feel like, you know, there's not enough red out there. And, you know, I stopped playing red a lot because, again, it's always getting banned. So that's why I was like, dude, it's time to stop following whatever the ban rules in the community of competitive players are crying about, because it ruins the game. You know, it really makes the game unfun and unbeginner friendly when you tell people like, hey, you know what? If you want to play Dragon Ball Super card game, you have to play it competitively. And guess what? If a red deck gets good and you invest in it, get ready for it to get banned within a few months, you know? So it's almost like, if you want to play red and not be scared of losing your money and your time, then just play One Piece. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for hanging out. And don't forget, keep it faith, say prayers, spread that love, be positive, be thankful. We come back at you. Peace.